Here we go. Watch for the light. Let's try that again. Good morning. Great. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Evanston. My name is Carla Williams, and my pronouns are she, her, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Whether this is your spiritual home or you are newly discovering this community, we're grateful to share this time together. We strive to be an inclusive and welcoming community, seeking truth in love and nurturing the human spirit for a world made whole. We are guided by our principles and values, which remind us in every moment and through every challenge that each of us is worthy of love and that we are all connected through the vast and beautiful web of existence. We come together to remember our kinship with one another and to hold one another in heart and mind with tenderness and careful attention, and to dedicate ourselves more fully to living our shared values. People of all ages are welcome and an important part of our faith community. We are blessed to have the children in the sanctuary for the first half of every service, and the entire service is for all ages about once a month. The nest in the front is our designated area for families and young children, where we have quiet fidget toys and activities and a kid-friendly order of service. Nursery care is available in room 11 every Sunday. As part of being a welcoming and inclusive community, we have some information posted on the screen that will help orient you to UCE and our service. A few announcements. Mark your calendars for the all-church potluck and program with the Board of Trustees on Friday, August 23rd. Check your newsletter for details in the next few weeks. This will be a chance for people of all ages to share your ideas, thoughts, and visions for UCE. And now, let us settle into our shared time of reflection, celebration, and inspiration. I'd like to welcome Reverend Gianni Fogliano as our guest preacher today. Dr. Gianni is the UUA's manager and strategist for equity, belonging, and change, and has served at the UUA as project manager to the Commission on Institutional Change and the development of the 2020 report, Widening the Circle of Concern. And I think many of you are familiar with that report. We studied it extensively. They joined the Office of the President as project manager, managing key institutional priorities and administrative initiatives, including the Commission on Institutional Change Implementation and Mission Alignment Team, and the Article 2 Study Commission, which passed at the GA, Article 2. Very exciting. Please help me welcome them. As we begin our worship service, those joining us online are invited to gather your chalice as we join in beloved community. Welcome to worship. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was once recorded. You know what? I'm going to start over. Is that okay? I thought I was had my head in the game here, but I need a minute. Okay, let's start this again. The Unitarian Church of Evanston resides on land that was recorded as being transferred from the local Potawatomi community to the U.S. government in 1829, shortly before the Potawatomi in this area were forcefully removed west of the Mississippi River. This land was then sold to white settlers. We remember the ancestors of contemporary African Americans, the individuals, families, and networks of Black people who built up our country's culture and economy, a role forced on them originally by enslavement. We acknowledge the intentional violence that landed on North American shores in 1619 has continued throughout the generations and remains a reality today. These acknowledgments are one small effort toward building long-term solidarity with contemporary communities. We commit ourselves to take what we learn here today and incorporate it into our lives and turn our thoughts into actions. Please join in our words of shared commitment. We name these with honor for all the ancestors, respect for our descendants, and gratitude for the land we use as sacred space. Wendy, Daniel, and Henry Herman brought the flowers today in celebration of Wendy's birthday today. As they light our chalice, symbol of our living tradition, please join in saying the words on the screen by Reverend Kimberly Ann Tomchuk Carlson. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious Here we go. A common but precious is a hope, a desire for more. Someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibility of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Please rise in body or spirit and join in saying the words of our covenant. Love is the truth of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Before we sing our opening hymn, I invite those joining us online to greet each other in the chat, and those gathered in the sanctuary to turn to one another briefly and say good morning, trying to connect with someone who's new to you. Please stay after the service and continue your conversations. If you are new to UCE, please stop by the welcome table with the red tablecloth at the back of the sanctuary to get more information about our community. Let's keep creating new relationships and building kinship among us. Please remain risen and join in singing our opening hymn. Number 298, Wake Now My Senses.
This verse.
Join with each pilgrim who quests for the true. Honor the beauty and wisdom of time. Suffer thy limit and praise the sublime.
I just want to let you know that Adam took a vacation day, and Steve Sirakaku has been working very hard to train. And there's been a lot of glitches this morning, so Steve's doing a really good job, and I just invite us to have some more patience as we get through the rest of the service. So thank you so much, Steve. You're doing great.
Okay. Is that better? That's better. Our time for all ages this morning is titled Our Place in the Cosmos by Reverend Erica Hewitt. Okay, I think we're ready now. Are we all ready? We're ready. Okay, let's start over again. This seems to be a pattern this morning for me. I may go home and go to bed and restart the whole day. I don't know. A Time for All Ages, Our Place in the Cosmos by Reverend Erica Hewitt. We humans have always looked up to the stars, wondered about them, and even told stories about them. During the many thousands of years that human beings have been looking up at the stars, they've changed, we've changed our understanding of what the universe looks like and how it works. More than 500 years ago, a man named Nicholas Copernicus was born in Poland. He watched the stars and planets and used his observations to come up with a pretty unique and upsetting idea. In his day, most people thought that the Earth was at the center of the universe. They also thought that the stars were little holes in a glass ball around the Earth. Copernicus thought, what if the universe doesn't move around the Earth? What if the Earth is actually a planet circling the sun? He wrote a book about this, which wasn't popular. In fact, if he hadn't died long after that, he probably would have been in jail. Today, we know that Copernicus was right. Our planet Earth circles the sun, which is a star. It took a long, long time, hundreds of years, for people to finally believe this and to stop saying that the Earth was at the center of the universe. But for hundreds of years, that belief that the universe revolved around Earth was so stuck in people's minds that it became part of religion too. It was kind of a religious belief. So when Copernicus said, I don't think the heavens revolve around the Earth, he was speaking as a scientist, but the church heard it as challenging their religion. And there's a word for that: heresy. Yes, that means that not just scientists, but anyone could get into big trouble promoting the idea that the sun was at the center of our solar system. Believe it or not, this upsetting theory of Copernicus intersects with the story of Unitarian ancestors. Not very far away from where Copernicus watched the planets and the stars, there was a land called Transylvania, a land of mountains and rolling green hills. Transylvania is where some of the first Unitarians built their churches and formed their faith, right about the same time that Copernicus wrote his book about the Earth revolving around the sun. Our Unitarian ancestors already knew what it was like to say and believe things that could get them into trouble. One of those things was Ej Oz Ishtan, or God is one. When they and we say God is one, we're saying that we don't agree with the Christian doctrine that Jesus was God incarnate. We're saying he was fully human. A lot of Unitarians in Transylvania and elsewhere died because they wouldn't stop believing or saying that. One of the villages in Transylvania, today a part of Romania that's ethnically Hungarian, is Oakland. Its Unitarian church is over 400 years old. Like a lot of Transylvanian Unitarian churches, the church has a wooden ceiling that's divided into deep square panels. Most of them have flowers or plants painted on them, but there's one very special ceiling panel, a sun surrounded by circling planets. It's a diagram of the Copernicus solar system. In Blessing the World, Rebecca Parker writes, "Holy regard for knowledge is at the heart of our religious faith. At a time when religion was opposing science, our ancestors in the remote mountains and valleys of Transylvania built sanctuaries that affirmed the discoveries of science. They did so even when the dominant religious culture advocated ideologies that allowed no new revelations." Let us celebrate these gifts, which have been woven into our religious DNA. We belong to a tradition in which religion and science have never been forced apart or asked each other to be silent. We, as a people, encourage one another to explore and discover, to ask questions and declare that revelation is not sealed and will never be sealed, and to freely follow the call, whatever its source, that connects us most deeply to the world inside us and to the universe around us.
Good morning. I invite us now to settle into a quiet time of reflection for our shared joys and sorrows. If you have a joy or sorrow that you would like spoken aloud, you may write it in the book that sits on the table just inside the sanctuary doors, or you can fill out the form on the homepage of our website. There's a little yellow button that says Joys and Sorrows, or you can email myself or Reverend Eileen. We listen to these offerings with tenderness and respect, and so we take a moment to quiet our bodies, inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling as we quiet our bodies, and exhaling as we listen. These are our joys and sorrows that have been shared before our service today. Wendy Herman, whose family brought the flowers today for her birthday, her dad passed away on Sunday, July 14th. He was in Arizona and had been battling with dementia. Wendy did not find out until that afternoon, but learned that her dad had his final moments during the UCE service when she and her son Henry prayer this time. Kind for from gratitude to care team that helped on my left side. I had a final x-ray and have been restored. From Diane Markell, as I prepare to move back to St. Paul, Minnesota on September 1st, I want this, my beloved community, to know how I will miss you and all the love and care and spirit I've experienced here with you. I will hold you forever in my heart. You are a special, spirit-filled, compassionate people. I will miss you, Diane. And Alicia Hempfling and Martha Holman and Shirley Adams celebrate that the broken finger of the lead guitar player of the blues band that's playing on Friday has completely recovered, and he can play the blues for us this Friday. If you're not already coming, please come. They bought this at an auction item and have opened it up for the entire congregation, so come on Friday, August 2nd, for the blues band. Sharing these concerns of the heart is part of our practice of beloved community. Together we expand our celebrations and lessen the burden of our grief. If you have something you would like to share today, please come up and light a candle. And if you would like a candle brought to you, please raise your hand and Cheryl Mounts will bring a candle to you. Forward.
Please join me in a spirit of prayer and meditation. Ultimate grace, the heart of every matter and every perfection and imperfection, in all sense and tenses, in moments of every right and wrong, presenting choices to inquiring hearts. You are in the purpose and the journey of mishaps. You are in the moments of understanding and misunderstanding. We have but to seek and invoke you and enable the work of your Spirit. As prayer is but an articulated common dream, we invoke our ultimate concern for the work of faith. We long to be hand in hand, creating a world where everyone belongs. Free us from our hindrances. Make invisible things visible, the voiceless heard. Lay what is hidden before us. Make the chained unbound, the doubting believe. What is confusing, let clarify as hardened hearts grow soft to the touch. May we come in fullness with gratefulness and faithfulness to one another. May we speak in kind conversing, disclosing our truths with care, expressing our practical wisdom to learn in its practical limits. For the world was not meant to be possessed by a singular truth, but to be built together upon revelations. O universe, with stars in your hair, you have shown that great things emerge from humble beginnings, no matter how flawed or lacking. That one story in a stable, in prison, in the cave, in distinction, in abject poverty, if lived in all sincerity, can liberate from darkness the many. May our eyes seek to appreciate, our breaths to dedicate power, our hands to warm each other. When loving fearlessly, we are invincible. When free will is deliberate, we are pivotal. When dreaming together, we are infinite. Remind us of the very questions that we have turned away from, that we thought could not be answered or are impossible to realize. Dear universal intelligence, your embrace contains everything but confines nothing. And the ever instances of existence, may this one moment count. As we sing our response, our young people, preschool through 6th grade, are invited to head to their faith formation time with their adult leaders.
As we say in our covenant each Sunday, service is our law. UCE is called by our mission, values, and principles to contribute to our community, to form accountable partnerships, and to express gratitude through giving. Today's offering will be shared with Restorative Justice Foundation. This is legislative change, trains advocates, and conducts research with a focus on pulling back the policies of the past, replacing them with smart, safe policies for the future. We seek to support, empower, and promote healing and hope for people who are incarcerated, their loved ones, and their communities. You may text to give, mail in a check, put cash in the collection bowls, or give from our website. If you write a check, please indicate on the memo line the check is shared on or some other giving. The usher ask the collection bowl on the rows. Please give as easily as you want to give. You try.
Thank you for your generosity. Today's reading is adopted by the author, Reverend Sarah Lammert, from a transcript of a radio show from Joanne Macy on KPFA, Berkeley, California, in February of 1991. The original transcript is by Rain Border. We create a web of life. This is finally the time to let go of that notion that we can live separate and aloof from one another. We create a web of life. This is the time at last that we can come home to each other, to our mutual belonging. We create a web of life. And we create a web of life out of which every single one of us can use everything our stories have given us. We create a web of life. Every part of our lives, even the cruelty, even the abuse, even the addiction, even the loneliness, even the failures. We create a web of life. A web of life is created within which you can rest in knowing that knowing. Because out of that, you can act. Out of that, all power is yours. Out of that, you travel light. Out of that, you can step forward. We create a web of life. Let every encounter be a homecoming as we step forward now for the healing of our world. The world is not going to be saved by good people or noble people. The world is going to be healed by ordinary people like you and me, who are not afraid of pain and who are not afraid of loving each other. Amen. Good morning, everyone. My name is Reverend Gianni Fogliano, and I am so thrilled to be here with you today. I come bearing greetings and deep love from the Reverend Dr. Sophia Betancourt, President of the Unitarian Universalist Association, all of our staff within the Office of the President, and our staff at the Unitarian Universalist Association, over 200 members across this continent. I also bring greetings and well wishes from my home congregation, the Universalist Unitarian Church of Peoria, Illinois, and our Reverend Jennifer Innes. To give a visual description of who I am a biracial person with medium-length curly hair that comes just past my ears. I'm wearing a purple clerical shirt with a white clerical collar and a black and white floral skirt. As we are gathered here today in this sacred space of openness and inspiration, let us reflect on the profound human need for belonging. This need is not merely a want or a desire, but a fundamental aspect of our very being. It's essential to our well-being as air that we breathe and the water that we drink. Belonging at its core is about feeling accepted, appreciated, and loved. It's about finding our place in the tapestry of human connection. As Unitarian Universalists, we understand that this tapestry is woven with the threads of diverse beliefs, experiences, and identities, yet held together by the strong fibers of love and shared values. The psychologist Abraham Maslow recognizes belonging as a crucial human need, placing it just above our basic physiological and safety needs required within his hierarchy of needs. This underscores the importance in our journey towards self-actualization and a fulfillment of life. But belonging is not a passive state. It requires active participation, both in the offering and the receiving. Researchers Roy Baumeister and Mark Leary suggest we need frequent positive interactions within a framework of long-term, stable care and concern to truly satisfy our need for belonging. In our UU communities, we strive to create this framework. We do so not through dogma or doctrine, but through love, a love that is inclusive, affirming, and transformative. We do so through our shared values, our commitment to justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. When we lack a sense of belonging, the consequences can be profound. Loneliness, alienation, and even depression can take root in the absence of meaningful connection. But here, in this beloved community, we have the opportunity to nurture belonging for ourselves and for others. As we explore the language of belonging today, let us remember that each of us has the power to speak the language fluently. Through our words and actions, we can create a community where everyone feels they truly belong, not in spite of their uniqueness, but because of it. Let us now open our hearts and minds to the possibility that arises when we fully embrace the language of belonging, grounded in love and our shared values. We begin with an understanding that words are not merely sounds and symbols, but powerful tools that shape our reality and influence our connections with one another. The words we choose and the way we express ourselves have a remarkable ability to build bridges or erect walls. As reflected in our first UU principle, our shared value of equity declares that every person is inherently worthy and has the right to flourish with dignity, love, and compassion. And our language should reflect this belief. When we speak with intention and compassion, we create spaces where people can feel seen, heard, and valued. Consider how a simple greeting can change the atmosphere of a room. When we say, "Welcome, friend," instead of merely "hello," we're extending an invitation to belonging. When we use visual descriptions or gender-neutral language, we acknowledge the diverse identities within our community and affirm their place among us. Our seventh principle speaks of the interdependent web of all existence. Language is a thread in this web, connecting us across differences and weaving us into a tapestry of shared experience. When we mindfully choose our words that uplift and unite, we strengthen this web and deepen our sense of belonging within sustainable relationships of care, respect, mutuality, and justice, a commitment we make in our covenant of interdependence. In our UU communities, certain phrases and actions have become touchstones of unity. When we light a chalice, we invoke a shared symbol of purpose that binds us together. The words "Spirit of Life" from our beloved hymn serve as a unifying call, transcending individual belief to touch something universal that's in each of us. When we say we are a people of welcome, we're not only just describing our community, but actively creating it through our words. The phrase beloved community reminds us of our aspirational vision and our commitment to creating a world where everyone belongs. These words inspire us to live our values and extend our circle of care even wider. However, we must also acknowledge that language can divide and exclude. Even with the best of intentions, we can sometimes use words that create barriers. When we use inside jargon or acronyms without explanation, we may unintentionally exclude newcomers who don't share our vocabulary. If we speak of members and non-members or friends not too often, we risk creating an us versus them mentality. Similarly, when we use language that assumes certain life experiences or backgrounds within our community, we may alienate those that are on different journeys. We must be cautious of language that even subtly reinforces societal biases. Phrases like illegal immigrant or that's crazy can perpetuate harmful stereotypes and make members of our communities feel unwelcome and invalidated. As Unitarian Universalists, we are called to be mindful of our words and their impacts. We must strive to use language that reflects our principles and our values, language that affirms that all people are worthy of love and compassion, seeking justice and respect for the interdependent web of existence. Let us commit to being intentional in our words, to speak with love and inclusion, and to listen deeply to each other. May we use the power of language to create true senses of belonging for all who enter our doors and beyond. In doing so, we honor our UU tradition of radical welcome and move closer to realizing the beloved community we envision. Let our words be a beacon of hope and balm for the wounds and a force of unity in the world that desperately needs it. As we delve deeper into the power of language in creating a sense of belonging, it is essential that we acknowledge the complex and often challenging aspects of that endeavor, the paradox of belonging. As we just acknowledged, our words and actions can foster connection and inclusion, but they can also create barriers and exclusion. This paradox arises when, in our sincere effort to build community where everyone feels they can belong, we may inadvertently overlook or alienate those whose experiences and perspectives differ from the majority. Understanding this paradox is crucial as we strive to create a truly inclusive space that honors the diverse tapestry of human experience within our Unitarian Universalist communities. The paradox of belonging is this: in our earnest attempt to create a sense of belonging for some, we may inevitably exclude others. As we build this community based on shared values, experiences, and identities, we risk creating these invisible barriers that keep others out. This is not intentional, but rather an unintended consequence of our natural human tendency to seek to connect with those who are similar to us. We've seen this paradox play out in our UU communities in various ways. For instance, a congregation that prides itself on intellectual discourse and discussions may unintentionally alienate those who experience their spirituality more emotionally. A social justice group focused on racial equity may inadvertently cause white members to feel unwelcome or defensive. Even our use of certain language or rituals deeply meaningful for longtime members might be confusing and off-putting to new members. I recall a story from a fellow UU minister about a young family who visited their congregation. The parents were excited about the inclusion message where the neurodivergent child struggled with the expectation to sit quietly in their service. This family left feeling that there wasn't a place for them, despite the congregation's intention to be welcoming to all. How does the congregation leave room for this family to be present and the child to be their self, while allowing members who struggle to hear or focus on the service with youthful interruptions? This paradox challenges us to live more fully into our UU values. Our commitment to justice and equity calls us to examine who might be left out when we create spaces of belonging. And our value of transformation reminds us that we must continually evolve our practices to be more inclusive. Our embrace of pluralism asks us to create space for multiple ways of belonging, not just one. And our recognition of interdependence reminds us that exclusion of any diminishes us all. Our spirit of generosity also calls us to extend our circle of belonging even wider. So how do we navigate this challenging terrain? How do we create a sense of belonging that truly embraces all? While there is no perfect solution, there are practices we can adopt to move in the right direction. First and foremost, we must commit to deep, active listening. This means listening not just to respond, but understand. It means being willing to hear perspectives that might challenge our own and to sit with the discomfort that might bring. When someone says they feel excluded or unwelcome, our first response should be to listen and seek understanding, not to defend or explain. We must also be mindful of our language, striving to use words that include rather than exclude. This means explaining inside jargon or acronyms that newcomers might not understand. It means being explicit about our welcome and not assuming that people will know they're included if we don't say so. Practicing empathy and compassion is crucial. This means trying to put ourselves in others' shoes, imagining how our words and actions might be perceived by someone with a different background and life experience than our own, and to extend grace when misunderstandings occur, and showing a willingness to apologize and learn when we have made mistakes. We need to intentionally create spaces where everyone feels heard and valued. This might mean offering multiple types of gatherings, some for intellectual conversation and others for spiritual and emotional sharing, still others for silent reflection. It might involve creating affinity groups where people with shared identities can connect while also ensuring that there is space for cross-cultural and intergenerational dialogue and understanding. In all of these efforts, we must remember to overcome this paradox of belonging. Let me start that sentence over. In all of these efforts, we must remember that overcoming the paradox of belonging is not the destination, but the journey. It's a constant process of learning and growing and evolving. We will make mistakes along the way, and that's okay. What matters is that we remain committed to the journey, that we stay open to feedback and new perspectives, and that we keep striving to create a community where everyone can truly belong. As Unitarian Universalists, we are uniquely positioned to tackle this challenge. Our theological diversity has taught us to create communities across differences. Our commitments to social justice have trained us to recognize and address systemic exclusion. And our openness to ongoing revelation reminds us that there is always more that we can learn. Let us embrace this paradox as an opportunity for growth and transformation, to see in it a chance to more fully embody our UU values, and let us recommit ourselves to the ongoing work of creating a beloved community where all are truly welcomed. May we have the courage to face this challenge head on, the wisdom to navigate its complexities, and the love to hold each other gently as we do this important work together. I'm excited to share with you all a specific initiative that's on the horizon from the UUA, the Mosaic Congregations Program. This program was born from the recommendations of the Commission on Institutional Change report, Widening the Circle of Concern, representing a bold movement forward in our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. The Mosaic Congregation Program is set to launch in 2025 and will provide a framework for UU congregations to engage deeply in anti-oppressive work and foster true inclusion. It's designed to be a comprehensive approach touching on various aspects of congregational life, from worship, ensuring our services reflect and celebrate diverse voices and experiences, to congregational culture, creating an environment where all feel truly welcome and valued. It will include leadership transformation, developing leaders who understand and champion inclusion, inclusivity, and justice ministry, connecting our internal work to the broader societal change. This program will offer resources like the Mosaic Unbanned Book Club, supporting consultants and Mosaic gatherings and conferences nationally. It's an invitation for all of us to engage more deeply in this vital work. But building a more inclusive community isn't just about programming and initiatives, it's about each of us individually and collectively committing to growth and change. It's about being willing to examine our own biases, to listen deeply to experiences different from our own, and to be open to that transformation. I invite each of you to consider how you might participate in this journey. Perhaps you may join in on an effort to form a Mosaic congregations team in this congregation, or maybe you'll attend a Mosaic gathering or join the Unbanned Book Club. Perhaps you'll simply commit to being more mindful of inclusivity in your daily interactions within this community and beyond. Remember, creating belonging is an ongoing process. It requires patience and presence and a willingness to sometimes be uncomfortable as we grow. But it also offers rich rewards, a deeper, more vibrant community life, new perspectives that enrich our spiritual journeys, and a joy of creating a space where we all can truly feel at home. As we embark on this next phase of our journey towards inclusivity, let us approach it with open hearts and minds. Let us be gentle with ourselves and each other as we learn and grow, and let us remain committed to our vision of beloved community that has always been at the heart of our faith. In the language of belonging, our every voice matters, every story has value, and every person has a place. May we continue to expand our circle, weaving the tapestry of community that reflects the full diversity and beauty of the human experience. Let us go forth with courage, compassion, and commitment, ready to build this inclusive community we envision. Together we can create a mosaic of belonging that truly reflects our highest values and aspirations. As we draw our reflections to a close, let us revisit the journey we've taken together today. We've explored the profound power of language in shaping our reality and influencing our sense of belonging. We've acknowledged the paradox of belonging, recognizing that in our efforts to create inclusive spaces, we may sometimes inevitably exclude others. And we've discussed practical ways to overcome this paradox through active listening, of language, empathy, creating safe spaces. Now, I invite each of you to act towards using language that bridges divides and fosters a sense of belonging. Let's commit to listening deeply, speaking intention, and extending passion of our interactions. Let's be mindful of the things we choose and the impact they have, having all ways to create a community where everyone feels seen, heard, and valued. In closing, let us remember that our Unitarian Universalist values call us to build a world of justice, equity, and compassion. As we go forth from this place, may we carry this with us, the spirit of inclusivity and community. May our words be a beacon of hope and a source of connection and a force for unity. Together, let us create beloved community where all truly belong. May it be so. Amen.
As we extinguish the chalice, please join in saying the words on the screen by the Reverend Elizabeth Sell Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our closing hymn, number 145, As Tranquil Streams.
As our service comes to an end, we invite you to the back of the hall for gathering and social time. As we leave this space, let us create in this world a place where everyone can feel totally included, where they belong within this community and beyond. The service has ended. The service has ended. May our service begin.